She got the name right, so that's good. Thank you so much. Excellent testimony. Well, I'm Grant Hauschild, for those of you I haven't met, and I have the privilege of representing the most rural and largest district in Minnesota. So when I approach policy challenges and the issues that our communities face, I try to take that lens of what impacts our rural communities most. I've done 3 childcare roundtables all across northern Minnesota and some of the most rural areas in Minnesota. And I can tell you without a doubt that childcare is one of the top issues that I hear about, not just from families, but I hear it from businesses, I hear about it from community leaders, I hear about it from prospective businesses that want to open up shop, I hear it from small business owners looking to expand. This childcare issue impacts all of us, and it's about the vibrancy of our communities. So we have to do something to address this big challenge. In fact, when I go to my rural communities, some of them literally do not have childcare slots or childcare available. So when you're talking about businesses growing, when you're talking about retaining the young people in your communities, how do you do that when you don't have childcare available at all? This is the challenge that we face in greater Minnesota, and you heard from folks here, urban, rural, suburban, it doesn't matter. This issue impacts all of us equally. And we need to figure out how we're going to address that for our families so that we can have a growing population for everybody. I'll give you one example. I was recently in Ely, and I met with a leader in one of the businesses there in town. He talked about how he had to work a flex schedule, sometimes starting as early as 4 a.m. and working late into the evenings because there wasn't childcare available for him and his 3 kids. This is somebody working in a leadership position with a business, providing quality business and opportunities for this rural town, and he couldn't find childcare. And that is why it's a market failure. We can't pay childcare providers enough to thrive. You heard that testimony earlier. And we have families spending more than their mortgages on childcare. This is a fundamentally broken system, and we have to do something to address it. I have a personal experience in this as well. I have a son, Henry, who's 4 years old, and a daughter, Isla, who is 2 years old. My wife is a frontline healthcare worker. We wouldn't be able to do the passionate work that matters to our communities if it wasn't for the childcare that we have. And the sad truth is, my wife was with my son and daughter recently in Target, and all of a sudden she hears from behind her, "Henry, Henry, Henry." And she looks back at somebody at the cashier, and the woman goes, "Oh, I'm one of Henry's childcare providers. I'm on my 3rd job right now working here at Target to get by, but I just saw Henry. I love caring for him, and I wanted to say hi." That shouldn't be the case. We have educated professionals helping raise our children from age 0 to 5 years old that are getting paid sub-minimum wages that don't allow them to live the lives that they need. And that's a tragedy, frankly, in my mind. We have families delaying having kids, and we have a native population that is continuing to decline, and we have population across our state that we need a workforce enabled to thrive. So this is a challenge that I think impacts all of us, and that's why I'm so thrilled to join Carly in representing this bill and representing our communities on this legislation. Last session, we did a lot for childcare. We provided stabilization grants for our childcare centers. We provided some increases in wages for our childcare providers, but now we need to focus on the middle class. This bill that we have before us would impact families earning anywhere from $50,000 a year to $175,000 a year. Middle class families trying to make ends meet. And the goal is that no family in Minnesota will pay more than 7% of their income on childcare. And this is up to 150% of the median wage. As one example, in my home county of St. Louis County, a family of 4 would pay no more than, or would get a break of $5,400 a year. This is real money back in the pockets of our families being able to be used on the core costs that they have. So before I end, I just want to make one final point. Some folks might ask, why are we doing this just for families of young children? That doesn't impact all Minnesotans. What about seniors? What about older families that maybe don't have kids in childcare anymore? We've done a lot in Minnesota to have each other's back, and we do the things that we need in order to make sure that families can thrive. Last session, we did Social Security tax relief, $1.2 billion worth. We did $300 million in nursing home emergency funding. We did education funding for our young people. Now it's time to focus on our young middle-class families, and that's exactly what this bill does. So I hope you'll join us in supporting the Great Start Family Affordability Care Bill. Thank you so much, and happy to answer questions.